In the name of God, hello dear friends, I'm Daniel Bagharzadeh, and here we have another part of Revit training course. In previous parts, we talked about some basic topics which were necessary for drawings, and right now in this session we're going to talk about how we can have drawing in Revit software. As you know, in architecture field, when you draw and your drawings will be changed from phase 1 to second phase, you need to have plans. Plans are parallel lines which they are for the walls, partitions, and your spaces. If you have work in AutoCAD software about the maps and plans, you know that you should draw something, some lines, and then you can have offset to have parallel lines. Then you can have window in them, you can have the doors, and this can be a plan. But here in Revit software, everything is a little different. Here you should not draw the lines. All the subjects and components which are necessary for your plan in both 3D view and 2D view, all of them are defined and comprehensive, and each one has this special setting, special options. And to be able to know these things, in this session we're gonna start it with drawing the walls, the most important factor in plans, which they are two parallel lines to shape the walls, which in plans we call them walls. But here in Revit, when you select the wall and when you start drawing, that wall will be something like this. Okay, right now here the walls are too small and the project is big. Here we can have this, what I told you in previous session. Let's have a review. I removed the elevations to be able to focus on the drawings here. Okay. To be able to draw the walls here in Revit software, here in this tab, Architecture, here you can have the command of wall. You can have it with a click, or as you can see, I put the mouse on it. You can see its shortcut, W and A. When I use this shortcut on the keyboard, I can start drawing the wall. You have some different types of the walls, but the main one which we needed right now is this one. Wall architectural. You have some other items like structural for some special structures. For example, you can have meshing parameters, and you have another wall which is wall by face. Later you'll see when you have a complicated volume, it will consider the faces of that shape or object as some walls. Okay. Right now, in normal situation, when we click on the wall or using its shortcut with W and A, both of them are the same. And when this section, place wall, is active, here in this window, draw, as you can see, all the modes which can be possible to draw a wall will be there. And some more items which you can see in option bar. They are here temporarily. Okay, the default mode is line. When you click on it, you can start drawing, and with a click you can consider the start point of your wall, and as you can see, the length of the wall and its angle with the horizon, all of these informations are there, and I can control it, and wherever I want I can have the second click to finish it. Or when I have it like this, for example, upward, when I press 3, I can have a wall with the length of 3. This is the first point. Right now, I'm gonna show you different types of drawing the wall one by one. After that, how to work with option bar and some special settings which are necessary for the wall. Okay, when you select wall, here in properties, this section, type, here in this list, you can select different types of the walls. Here you can have 3 different types of the walls. One of them is the basic wall. These are simple walls which we are working with them right now. The other one is curtain walls, the glassy walls, which are really useful, especially in facade. Later you'll see, we'll talk about them. And stack walls, a combination of basic walls which assembled on each other. For example, from level 0 till 1 meter, we have a stone wall which its height is 50 centimeters, then a brick wall for 30 centimeters on the stone wall. I will teach you about them. As you can see, I drew this wall here easily, and different modes are here to draw the walls, and they're obvious by the shapes. Let's have them quickly to be able to have more important topics. Rectangle. You can draw the rectangle like this, and two polygon modes. First one is this, from the center to the vertex of the polygon, which here in option bar you can consider the number of sides. It can be possible from 3 sides, as you can see, until 36, I think. The maximum is 36. It's like a circle. As you can see, when I want to have 50 sides, it cannot be possible. It should be between 3 and 36. More than 36, it will be a circle. Now the second one, which is like this, it's from the center to the side, not to the vertex like previous one. This is the difference between these two modes. Okay. The next one is the circle, which you can have a circle easily. And when I have a value here, for example 5, then okay, the radius will be 5. Guys, we will talk about option bar later. For now, we're just talking about the drawings. Okay, next one is to have a arc. You need to consider the start point and then the end point and middle point. As you can see, it will be like this: the start point, end point, and then the middle. Next one is to have a bow. First, you should draw a circle, then you can have this bow each side you want. According to these degrees, it can be controlled like this. Okay, next one, which does not work alone. And when I'm clicking here, as you can see, nothing happens. We need to have a line to start drawing from the end point of that line, and it can draw an arc like this. You can connect it to wherever you want or leave it like this, and you can keep going like this. Okay, next one. Again, it doesn't work alone. Somewhere like here, which you have two lines which they cross each other, or the corners, here you can have a fillet. As you can see here like this, you can have fillet for these two walls which they cross each other. Or here, for example, when you select radius, now it's on 1 meter. From now on, it will make fillet with a radius of 1 meter. When I change it to half, equal to 50 centimeters, when I select these two, it will make the fillet automatically. And a new option which is added from version 2020 to Revit software, which you can draw an oval wall. It wasn't possible in previous versions, and right now it's possible to have it. You need to select the center of the oval, then the first diameter, and then the second diameter. Okay, next one is to having this shape, half of an oval, and in this way you can have some shapes like this. As you can see, it's like an egg. Okay, here we have two more items, which right now we can just talk about one of them. Let me have the wall. This one is pick line, which you know from the before in drawing the levels. And here is the same. When I select it, right now, when I have a click here, I can have a wall exactly here on this one. But when you select pick line, you can have an offset for it easily, 2 meters offset, for example. And then when I select this line, I can have a wall with 2 meters offset. Even the circle. For example, when you have a line, guys, when I say line, line is the same as the wall here, no difference. I set these to avoid misunderstanding. When you have a closed shape and you want to select all of these lines together at the same time, like this one, some walls and the closed shape, and we want to have an offset for this. Let me delete this one, and one more time, pick line here and 1 meter, for example. When you want to select all the lines which are attached to each other in a closed shape, you should put the mouse on this line like this, inward or outward. Press shift twice, then you can see this preview like this. And when I have a click here, it will be an offset around this shape. Let's have it one more time for this shape. Here, tap to select all of them, then an offset like this. Then this shape with 36 sides, I selected and offset. They are overlapped, but it's okay. As you can see, we can have offset like this easily. But what is this one? Pick face, or here in this section, wall by face. Both are the same. Later, when you create a shape or volume without any special shape, plan or view, you can use that face as the reference. Then it changes it to a wall. Okay, we talked about the different types of the drawing the walls. Now let's have the option bar. What the possibilities do we have here? When I'm drawing a wall here, as you can see, this line, which is like dashed line, is my location line. It means that this wall is gonna be drawn according to that line, which is my center. Now when I'm drawing the second wall, the center of it to start is on the center of the previous wall, the middle line exactly. Now if we want to change this according to the outer face of the wall or inner face of the wall, when you want to draw the line here in option bar, here location section, there are some different types: wall center line, core center line, and then finish face exterior, which there are two of it. One of them is exterior and the other one is interior, and then the next one is core face exterior. What is the difference between wall and core? Then here, the difference between finish face and core face. Okay, let me have an example here on faces. Then later, when we have the setting of the wall's structure, you will understand this core. You know the meaning of the core. Wall has it as well, like Core i7 CPUs, a CPU with 7 cores. And here you will see and understand the core of the wall. If you don't want to have it in wall center line, you can change it to finish face exterior. As you can see right now, the location line is on the face of the wall, the outer surface of the wall. When I press space on the keyboard, it will be on other side. You can switch in exterior and interior with space instead of having it here in this list, which right here, there's not a difference between interior and exterior because this wall is with single layer. When you have different layers, that time it will be different. But here, it just changed the side. So you can have this option as well to control your wall according to the location line. Okay, there are some other options which they can be useful. As instance, chain. What is it? It means when I draw this wall with a click, the preview of drawing the next wall will be appear. Then I can keep going to draw these walls like a chain. Now when I deselect it and click here to draw, as you can see, it will be finished. It's not possible to continue drawing. And to have the next wall, I need to do it again, right here or somewhere else. And if you want to have continuous drawing, you can select the chain to continue the drawing like this. Okay, here you have an item which is offset. Here you can have offset when I select it, for example, for 2 meters. Then I can have offset for 2 meters above or bottom of the selected line. You can also have offset in pick line. Next one is radius. How it works here when you want to draw a straight line. In this situation, wherever which this line is cracked with some angles, it can have fillet for that section. For example, I have this like this, and here is this fillet, 1/2 meter. When I click, you can see its size. And I can have radius, 1.5. Okay, then here, something like this. And when I draw this, as you can see, at the corner, there is a fillet. Guys, these options can be possible in other items as well. And from now on, you can recognize them wherever you face with them. Here I have offset and radius. When I draw a square or rectangle, after drawing, it will fillet the corners. Here we don't have offset. Why? Because radius is active and it's not possible. But we can have offset here in this section. I select 5, for example, then here. And as you can see, there will be a offset. And this change happened because of the size, which it's bigger. Okay, here you can control the number of sides, here offset, and even radius here. When you consider the radius here, it won't fillet the corners in the polygon. This radius, which is for this imaginary circle, to have this shape inside of this imaginary circle. As you can see right here, the radius is 1.5. Now I change this, and as you can see, when I move the mouse, the radius doesn't change. I just need to draw it because the radius is already selected. When I deselect radius, I can control it manually. I can control the radius. I can even have some values. Then it will be drawn. And also the circle, it's the same. Nothing special. When I have radius, I can have some circles with different locations. Okay, that's it. Here we have many walls, but everything was just about how to draw them. But it's not finished here. Here in 3D environment, you can see that we have many walls. We need to be able to control these walls, about the structure, about the layers, what are the layers and what is the material of each layer, and also its height. Okay, right here, the beginning, when we draw the walls, here we can talk about how to select them. When you want to select something in 3D or 2D views, no difference. When I have a click on it, it will be selected. And we talked about the selecting and the color of the selection before. And here you can select them. You can draw a window to select, and when you draw it from right to left, if this window touch even a small part of the subject, it will be selected. But when it's from the left to right, the whole subject, the whole wall should be completely in this window to be selected. And as you can see, the scene is really messy and levels are here. Here in visibility graphic annotation, I remove the levels. As you can see, everything will be reviewed during the work. We talked about these things in previous sessions. Okay, we can select them like this to delete, or we can click and drag to select all of them to delete, or sometimes we might have other things in the scene. So in this way, we should have a right click, then here select all, instance. Everything we have here, as you can see, all visible in view. Whatever you can see here will be selected. Okay, or when you are in your project, for example, you are in a plan. I cut these items, for example. We didn't talk about these commands yet. I put them in level 4. Here, when I select these walls, then right click and this item, select all instance, visible in view, and then delete. As you can see, only the walls which were in level 1 are deleted. But when I select one of them here, then here in this section, select all instance in entire project. In this way, everything in entire project, which is same as this wall, will be selected. And when I delete, all of them will be deleted. So be careful about it. We have another technique to select all. To avoid having many clicks, you can press S and A on the keyboard to select all. Then everything will be selected and you can do whatever you want for it. Guys, here what I'm teaching are a little scattered, and the reason is that I need to tell you something to be able to start working. For example, when I have a session just about drawing, in this way you don't have necessary points to be able to work. So the reason of this scattering topics is this.